afternoon, Ryan Willard here. I am in the heart of Dubai Mall, which is the largest mall in Dubai and if not the world. It is just humongous. It is cathedral-esque in its size. I mean, I'm just standing here by this, this is like a sort of 20-meter drop down. I'm getting vertigo just watching it. It's an enormous sort of circulation space we've got here. It's kind of hypnotic, I've just stood here watching everyone go round in their kind of haze of the New Year sales, everyone kind of trying to hunt out a bargain. I myself have just got some nice clothing. It is, I've always been fascinated in shopping malls and their design because of their effect on us, because of their sort of ability to disorientate and keep us shopping, keep us moving. And Dubai Mall is actually quite a very clearly laid out building. But it's just the scale of it. I mean, every single store that is here is a flagship store. You've got all the high-end brands from Burberry to Tom Ford to Gucci, Chanel. And Dubai is a city that doesn't really have the street life that we find in old European cities. It's a city that, as I've spoken about, it's based on the car, it's based on highways, and the desert and the climate doesn't really, for large parts of the year, it's just, it hits 40 degrees centigrade, 50 sometimes, which means it's not really feasible for you to be out and about walking around on street life. So there's a kind of artificial synthetic street which is created within the shopping malls. And Dubai Mall has this kind of, the large glazed linoleum streets that are kind of circulating around all the high-end shops. That is, in a sense, their street life. This isn't, this is the kind of frenzy of consumerism that we find. And Dubai is all about spectacle. Dubai has the element of Las Vegas in a way, where it's kind of vying for your attention. Everything is new and shiny, and it wants to be the thing that stands out the most. It wants to be the place, the go-to destination. And in order to do that, in order to compete, there needs to be some form of spectacle. Normally, the most sort of best way to do it is just by sheer size. Whatever is the biggest becomes the most famous and the most visited and the most sort of sought out attraction. And Dubai Mall is certainly that. Inside, I'm going to have the aquarium, which is the world's largest indoor aquarium. I think these things are a little bit, they have a dark side to them. I think the turnover of animals and of fish life is quite disturbing. And I know that they had a whale shark there maybe a few years ago that was unable to kind of live in those conditions. And Dubai is a place in the Middle East, unlike a lot of its other emirates like Abu Dhabi. The wealth here is from trade. So having these large shopping malls is quite fitting. This is the go-to shopping destination for people all around the Middle East. You can see here today, this is the new year, January the 1st, the sales have begun, and it's packed, it's absolutely packed. Now, I've always been interested in traditional Islamic architecture, and how the mosques always used intricate patination, the beautiful geometries that you find in Islam. You can see kind of rather crass reproductions of it on the columns here. But the mosques always, because Islam is a religion where they're not allowed to depict an image of Allah, they always went to patination and geometry in order to create that sense of awe and of spectacle. And the geometries, for me, actually visually, they can be so intricate and so enormous and on such a large scale in some of these incredible mosques that you have a kind of a visual shift that almost transports you to another world. There's a word called Gansfeld, which means a kind of completely immersive field of vision, where you can't see anything else except a sort of a singular color, or the sky, for example, is a good example of a Gansfeld. And mosques do that with their patination. You walk in and you see this pattern, and it will cross surfaces, it will jump to scales. You'll have the same pattern on the books as you will do on the walls, and in the ceilings and in the great domes. And it's remarkable. It's a very, very uplifting experience to see something that beautiful and that intricate. And in a way, our sort of modern interpretation of that Gansfeld effect is through the bombardment of advertising and of digital imagery, and it's a little bit you know, it's almost nauseating in a kind of way. I often find you will get fatigued in these shopping malls because you are just bombarded with electronic messaging, with brand names, everybody, all these companies vying and fighting for your attention.